Josh Green here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by Queensberry's Sahni here post 5v5 press conference. Exciting one today, wasn't it?
It was good, wasn't it? Bit of everything, really. Bit of, look, you almost forget Beterbiev Bivol's on this show as well. Like a fight that we've all been crying out for years and years and years. That's the headline. That's amazing. Frank and Eddie facing off. That's amazing. Eddie having Deontay Wilder sat next to him. That's amazing. Well, I was thinking about this earlier. Deontay Wilder's biggest rival over the years has been Tyson Fury. 3 fights. Who's his second biggest rival? I'd actually say it's Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn was sat right next to him. Eddie Hearn said plenty about Deontay Wilder in the past. So, pretty surreal. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of that plays out.
And we got to see Beterbiev Sahni 2 as well up on that stage.
Not a rematch I was particularly looking forward to, but it's all good fun, isn't it? He's that sort of character at a press conference. He doesn't really want to get involved. He doesn't want to answer any questions, really. He could probably say a bit more to sell the fight, but he's got that quiet seriousness about him. Ask him, that he knows what's going to happen. Cool little one-liners. You put a cold filter on it, put some music underneath it. You got a little something.
With all the news today, Deontay Wilder being sort of the headline news, do you think Beterbiev's got a little bit lost in the press conference today?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at the coverage yet, but neither of them really said anything particularly inflammatory. There were a couple of little moments, but yeah, I mean, it certainly won't get lost on the night. It's the main event, so can't wait.
Is it a little bit of a disappointment in any way that a lot of these fights were mentioned, you could say leaked on social media, and it wasn't a huge surprise to certainly us in the media, the names that were revealed today, despite the incredible backdrop and the masks and all that?
Well, look, you do it to yourselves. If people get hold of this information, then leak it, and then they moan when there's no surprise, well, don't leak it, and don't try and get hold of the information beforehand. It's what can you do? I think because it's taken so long as well, and there's guys are putting stuff on their Instagram, and people start connecting little dots here and there. But I don't know, maybe they'll do things differently next time if there's a 5v5 surprise thing. Who knows? But ultimately, we've got a tremendous fight card. Maybe the best ever. You look at Eddie was right up there. It's like 50-50 fights all up and down the card. I'd like to see the odds, actually. I know Beterbiev Bivol is like right down the line, 50-50. Bookies can't split them. I'd like to see some of the odds for the others.
Deontay Wilder, when he lost to Joseph Parker, did you think maybe that would be the last we'd see of him, or do you think this very much is his last hurrah, especially at the top level?
I don't know, because he toyed with retirement talk, right? There was that kind of talk. There was the feeling that he'd lost his edge. We all saw Deontay Wilder that week at the Day of Reckoning. We saw him. He looked like Deontay Wilder. He sounded like Deontay Wilder. But then on fight night, we were expecting the Bronze Bomber. He didn't turn up. It was just Deontay Wilder. So I guess the question is the Bronze Bomber still in there? If he's in there, then the Bronze Bomber loses to Zhilei Zhang.
Is that the same Wilder you saw up there all those months ago? He seemed very considered, very calm. There didn't seem to be much in the way of angst or interpretation.
He's quite a deep character. He's a deep thinker. I think we saw that around the Parker fight week. He's had that ayahuasca thing happen. Seems to have found himself, but maybe lost the Bronze Bomber on the way to finding himself. I don't know. He's a deep thinker. He does like to go quite deep, and that's what we got.
Daniel Dubois, we've seen the improvements he's made under Don Charles. Don Charles says there's still a huge amount more to come for Daniel. Still very, very young as well. Could be another decade of Daniel Dubois at this top level.
There could be, and look at his kind of win-loss resume at the moment. That's what people like to do, right? He has been in there with Joe Joyce when Joe Joyce was unbeaten, a wrecking ball. He's been in there with Alexander Usyk, had Usyk on the floor. He was winning the fight against Joe Joyce, by the way. So he was winning against Joe Joyce. He's had Usyk on the floor. He stopped Big Baby Miller. And now he's got Hrgović. If he beats Filip Hrgović, takes his unbeaten record, hey, that's one of the very best heavyweights in the world there. That's an impressive kind of win-loss resume.
Where does he sit, in your opinion, in those heavyweight rankings at the moment? Really impressive performance against Alexander Usyk without coming away with the goods.
I think, look, he's easily top 10. Frank had him at I think number 4. Yeah, look, if you put a lot of stock into what he did against Alexander Usyk, if you say that was a legal shot, which many do, then he's secretly the uncrowned, unified world heavyweight champion. So you've got to give him props. We'll find out a lot more after the Hrgovic fight.
Hamza Shiraz being given the captaincy by Mr. Frank Warren. Big weight on his shoulders for such a young man.
He's just cool as you like. He doesn't care. I think Frank's looked across. He's looked at Hamza. He's looked at his box rec. Looked at his last fight, and he's seen that he's already beaten Williams. So he ain't worried about another Williams.
How much are the fighters actually caring about the Queensberry versus Matchroom side? From what you've heard, you've been around the fighters.
Well, actually, I haven't been around them too much. Like, today's the kind of launch day. I haven't had a chance. I'll see them all tomorrow. There'll be a bit of media, so I'll find out. Look, it's every man for himself in a sport like boxing. But being sat next to the guys like that, having Frank like geeing them up kind of thing, they will want to rep. The Eddie guys will want to rep Eddie as well. I think it's inevitable it'll turn into a bit of a our team's better than your team kind of thing.
I mean, is it worth asking for a Dev Sahni prediction for the fights? 5-0?
5-0, correct, absolutely correct. I believe that Zhilei Zhang will land the bang on Deontay Wilder. I believe Daniel Dubois will stop Filip Hrgovic early in that fight. I think he has to. Honestly, I think Hamza Shiraz will have quite an easy night against Amo Williams. Nick Ball, Ray Ford, I think that's a hard fight, but I'd back the wrecking ball in that. And who's left? Willie Hutchison against... Yeah, here's the thing with that. You've got a Hutch train, yeah, and you've got a spider. What happens if a train runs over a spider? You tell me.
Final piece of business, Tyson Fury. We saw a press conference called, last-minute press conference, some could say, up in Morecambe last week. Tyson looks in incredible shape. He looks to be taking this camp very, very seriously, as he should, of course, for Undisputed. How much confidence did it fill you with seeing the shape he was in?
It was great, the whole thing, and hearing that John Fury's in camp as well, Big John's around it, everyone seems to be on the same page. Tyson was great at that presser. He was a mix of everything. He was funny, he was calm as well, he was gave you a little bit of history, then gave you like a big rousing speech as well, which drew the applause of the onlooking media. He was great. He seems in a fantastic place, and he needs to be against Usyk.
Do you think these jibes and these things that Tyson says directed towards Usyk, do you think they'll have any effect on Alexander Usyk?
No, I don't. But look, he's got to say something. If Tyson Fury didn't call Alexander Usyk a sausage, or gap teeth, or middleweight, and all of these things, nobody would say anything to anyone at these pressers. It would be very, very dull because Usyk's not getting drawn in. He's not getting involved. So you're sort of relying on Tyson to do the talking, the heavy lifting, and sell the fight. Not that it needs much selling. It's the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, but you want little moments at a presser. You're only really going to get them from Fury.
Dev, pleasure chatting, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You too.